Did a quick fix make your swing worse? Wayne Defrancesco will get your swing back on track at wdglc.com.
Hey there everybody, it's Wayne D, and welcome to my website. On the screen in front of you is the guy I wish I could be if I came back. Alvaro Quiros. This guy's got the perfect body for golf. It's kind of like the European Dustin Johnson, but with a little bit more of a conventional swing. Doesn't have the bowed wrist at the top, and he does a lot of the things that I talk about that I like or prefer in a golf swing. So here we've got a nice down the line view, and the camera is nice and still, so we can draw some lines. So this is a well-placed camera for all you angle buffs out there. So let's take a peek, see what happens. You can see the initial takeaway is pretty much right on the money, and then the hands will begin to come up off the line. The club will stay outside the hands. There it is there. And one of the things that's notable about his swing is that halfway up there, the shaft is relatively vertical. So you can see that the on-plane position would be over there, and Quiros' position is about 12 degrees up. Now, I kind of prefer it to go vertical a little bit. You see the right elbow higher than the left, because it's going to promote what Quiros does to start his forward swing, which is to flatten the shaft. Now, he really does this radically, but this guy is so incredibly lean and strong. Look how little his lower body has moved in this swing. Now, you got to understand, he hits it as far as anyone who plays high-level golf. So he's right in there with the big guys on our tour. Garrigus and Dustin Johnson, Bubba Watson. Quiros is right in there. So here's you can see the compression in the backswing. See the head go down. Now the club from vertical, you can see it's already moseying over to where it gets onto the plane, so it's already starting to take the effect of the lower body move. So what you'll see is, if you watch the legs real careful, right about, I'm going to click right now, that's when if you can look over here at the right leg, it begins to move around and forward, and as soon as you see any movement there, you'll see the arms being affected. So this is a nice hard catch. Now watch the shaft in transition. So again, a little vertical of plane, and then again, here's another thing to look for. Watch the right forearm and elbow and upper arm. Now watch, here we go. Boom. So the shaft now is over here at 50. Remember, it was up here at, I don't know, what do we say, 60, 75. So that's 25 degrees of kickback. Boom. And what makes this work is the arms squeezing in like crazy. So if you look at the spacing between these elbows here, watch how that distance gets less. Now, if you take a look at the initial direction of grip movement, you'll see that the butt of the club is heading right down the high plane line toward the ball. Shaft is shallowing, the arms are squeezing in, and the legs are back to square again, when the left arm is parallel to the ground, and now the right elbow is below the left. So that's that active transition that I really like in a swing. Hogan did it. A lot of good players do it. And then the interesting thing is that even though the hands are heading out toward the ball, with that squeezing action and the hard rotation of the body, watch, the left arm will squeeze in and the hands will make it right about down to the shaft plane. So look where the right forearm is, pretty much right on it. And there's the shaft. And that's with a fairly low hand position. If we draw this line up through him, it's probably not quite up at the belt buckle like I would want it, maybe a little higher hands. But you know, you take a guy like this with probably super long arms, and might be a little more comfortable to hang his arms down there. So that's going to take him off the shaft plane in the forward swing, but he almost gets right on it anyway.
Learn the pivot compression golf swing. Join WDGLC.com today.
Now, take a look at the lower legs as he hits through the ball. You can see the thrust is the right glute is shooting up into the left here. You can see both calves moving inward. It's dragging the inside of that right foot. So tremendous amount of shove with the lower body sustaining that impact through. The exit way under the shoulder there. See it? Here's the club coming out. And then the camera moves, so we can't really get a good read on the finish. But notice how the head lowers and then stays right out over the ball. Here's the second lowering. Now he's a real tall, lanky guy, so he's already fairly bent over at address. So when you look at these angles like this one, that's pretty sharp. And you see that all the time. I put people in these positions and they just go, man, okay, how do you do that? So that looks pretty cool. Let's get rid of the lines and watch it a couple times. Now, you want a fast swing? This is a fast swing. But when you're that strong and the swing is that continuously in motion like this one, why not? It's just more athletic to me. So let's take a different swing. Take a look. It's a nice shot from behind. Driver. Again, tremendous speed. Club head slightly outside the hands, going to a little vertical. And here comes the layback. Look at the relative lack of hip turn. That's just strength. Now you can say he's flexible, but what it really means is he's strong enough to move his upper body that fast and keep control of the arms without moving his legs around very much. So you can see at impact how open that is. So here's an angled shot, and when we look at this one, I want you to just watch his right arm again. Now the legs are going to cut. So when I teach hip movement, I usually teach a lateral slide, but on an angle. And since this camera is pretty close to 45 degrees from the, so I'd say if I was 45 and it'd be over here somewhere. So when I watch hip action like this, I see it that way. I see his hips moving over there, what I would think 45 to this where he's lined up. And then you can see the right arm squeezing in, and by the time it gets down into here, it's hooking up to the body. And then you can see how open that is when he hits the ball. Now that's open, and that's pretty classic. I mean, if you keep watching these videos that I show you, you'll see just how open the hips are at impact. Now, Quiros doesn't have a whole lot of lateral movement. Here's another good picture of him. So here you could say that the club has actually crossed the line there, and then bang, look at that. So again, pretty clear that the movement of the grip is going to be out toward the ball. The elbow is going to follow that direction. The forearm is going to tip to a more vertical position like that. The hips are going to drive inward at 45. That's what I would like to, how I imagine it. The right arm frees itself of the body, and the whole thing rotates hard around to hit it. Now here's not the most perfect view, since it's, so here's his left side. We'll draw the hips, but maybe we can see hip action here. Well, he's unfortunately standing. There's a dark spot behind him, so we can kind of tell. Now this is what I would call right load, right? So, you know, the head is definitely moving to the right. So that's pretty big. He's loading up, and he really doesn't have a lot of lateral movement. So you'll see it, his hip will just, if it started, we'll guesstimate it's here. He'll just get back to that caddy right there. You can see it just nudge over there. So that's not a lot. Look at his arms. You know, Sneed had arms that looked like that. Veins coming out, muscles everywhere. So you can see how hooked up that right arm is into the body right there. Now, huge rotation. Now when that left foot spins around like that, that means there's not a whole hell of a lot of weight on it. So he's pushing off the inside of this right foot still. He's behind the ball a bunch, launching the crap out of it. And the left foot just sort of spins around. Full extension. So this is the new equipment. These guys are so strong. They're taking these things, launching them at whatever they want. You know, if you wanted to launch it up there at 16 degrees, he could probably do that. My guess is with this swing that he'd be hitting it with a little bit lower launch, but you know, look at that. Look at that line on the left arm there. Nice. So this swing was a slow-mo. Much rather see it at regular speed, but we'll watch it. Let's watch it through again. So again, off the ball and smack. Didn't mean to do that. Do it one more time. Watch the left leg. Again, straightening out as he's hitting the ball. So we got back to that swing we looked at first. Get a nice idea of the speed involved there. Just kind of flicks it out there. Love that swing. Now he hasn't really played very well in the majors yet. He's won 5 or 6 tournaments, but you know, he's 28. I would expect him to contend in some majors eventually. Certainly looks like he could learn to control the ball and play those tough courses. All right, Alvaro Quiros, one of my favorite guys.